I'm asking for a friend, but this is really important. How did you go about writing your commencement speeches?
Meredith wrote them. Each one was a little different, but except for the last one, I talked about things that I had been thinking about on and off most of my life and tried to see if I could turn them into a commencement speech. So the first one was about the topic of time, which I realize is a pretty common topic to talk about at graduation. Then the sin of omission, growing up as a Catholic, I thought an awful lot. Well, I appreciate it.
Grace, that was great.
And grace, and then one on questions. And I've spent a lot of time over the course of my life thinking about questions.
Wait, what?
Yeah, right. And that speech in particular, it was very abstract. And then I went for a run and I thought I should actually give some examples of what I think are good questions. And that's what ultimately led to identifying 5 essential questions. That was really kind of a fluke.
And so then how did it go from being a commencement speech to a bestseller? So
Matt Weber, who you know is our former colleague and social media guru, he had the brilliant idea, with Meredith's help, to turn the speech from a 26-minute long speech into a 5-minute clip that was just about the 5 questions. And I think it was because of the brevity of the speech. Because the brevity of the clip. People will watch 5 minutes. They won't watch 25 minutes. It was a list. And there was a student speech that year that also went viral.
Donovan's.
Yeah, Donovan's speech. And so I think people went from Donovan's speech to mine, honestly, and that's what got it started. So it went viral, and then I got a call from a publisher, an editor at HarperCollins, who ultimately persuaded me to write a book. I said originally that's crazy. I'm not going to write a book. I don't have time. I said all I really have to say, and he kept talking to me, and finally I agreed to do it.
Are you happy with the result?
Yes, although slightly embarrassed. Not as embarrassed as Katie is, because there are so many stories about her in the book. I wrote an academic book, and my experience with the academic book is not many people read academic books, which is fine. You hope the people who need to read them will read them. But as I was writing this book, which is pretty autobiographical, which is what the editor suggested, which made it easy to write, I was never imagining anyone would actually read it.
But my dad read it and then just started, well, Jim said this. Yeah. Jim, this is what happened to Jim. I got to go talk to Jim.
Well, I gave the manuscript to Sarah Lawrence Lightfoot.
Yes.
And she read it and she said, I really like it. It is really, really personal. And I thought, oh my gosh, you're right. So it's an odd thing now, being president of a university, because I run into people all the time where they say, I read your book, and I'll start telling a story and they'll say, oh no, I know that story from the book. And so it's a little strange.
Okay.
But I'm glad I did it.
That's great.